and they said, do you believe that we could go ahead and destroy the Jewish nation? Could we defeat the Jewish people? So what did the philosophers say? Go to the synagogues and the Bati Midrash. Go to the synagogues, to the yeshivot, or the houses of learning. If you find children talking, praying, learning, you're not going to be able to defeat the Jewish people. If not, you go to the synagogues and there's no children, and I wonder if it means to say the children are the future. If you go to a synagogue and there's no children, there's only old people in the synagogue. Where are all the children? Why aren't they involved? Where are the kids? Then you could defeat them if you don't find them in the synagogue or the Beit Midrash. Because that was the promise of Yaakov. Hakol kol Yaakov. That when Yaakov is found in the synagogues and the Beit Midrash, Esav has no power. I just felt that Midrash was a very powerful Midrash to recognize the power of the Jewish people. The children learning, the children praying, that is the protection for the Jewish community. And I think I was just a little blown away by this Midrash. And even the Goyim know, meaning the Goyim know our power. They know our power. They know this is our power. They knew that's why they hired Bilam to curse the Jewish people, because they said the power of the Jew is with the mouth. So let's call someone who has a power with his mouth to go ahead and try to knock out the Jews. They know our power. The problem is we don't realize our power. If we would recognize that the Jewish children going to yeshiva and praying is our power, maybe we would have more Jewish kids in yeshiva, more Jewish cool kids in shuls praying. So that was just the moving midrash that I thought was beautiful to share with
that's beautiful, Rabbi.
They're beautiful. It says nichnasu kol umot ha'olam etzlo. It's like you had the United Nations. All the nations of the world came to them. How did all the nations of the world come to Bilam? Came to Bilam. It's like they have representatives, like we have today in the United Nations. You have representatives. You have, let's say officially there's 70 nations. Well, members of each of the 70 nations came to Bilam and the other philosopher and asked him, can we defeat the Jews? And this is the answer. So we have to realize we are vulnerable. I said last night when I said this over somewhere, I said during COVID-19, we were the danger was much greater because we wouldn't have the yeshivas will close, the synagogues will close, and that's a great danger for the community. So that was just I thought something to share. I mean, it makes a great appeal. Someone's making an appeal for a yeshiva. This would be like a slam dunk appeal for a yeshiva. That's what but I think the message is so true, and I think we should recognize the power of the children. That's what I think. And there are many synagogues today that there's no children, just older people, and that's a sign that there's a big problem. We have to change that. We have to bring education.
Very well said. Absolutely. Okay. Isn't there a midrash about Moshe Rabbeinu that his sons didn't succeed him because he didn't pay enough attention to them and was so focused on the nation?
I'm not sure exactly, but Jaime, it's interesting that Moshe thought that his sons he had wanted that maybe Hashem, at the end of Moshe's life, he thought maybe his sons will take over for him, but Hashem says, no, Yeshua is the man. So they obviously they reached definitely high levels, but not high enough to succeed Moshe. So the fact that Moshe was even—
And there's no mention of them after that.
Right. It's very interesting. But the fact that he was considering them for that position, I presume it shows you that they did reach, but at the end of the day, like it says, there's one leader for a generation. And maybe even though we have other people that play a very important role, so we see Yeshua was that dominating leader during that time period. Okay, now we're back to 15b. We left off 15b in the art scroll. Let's see what we're up to. 15b1. We're on the right column, the bottom paragraph. B'mai kamiflagi. Mr. Batesh, you have it, 15b1. First of all, I want to give a compliment to everybody that's here at this time during second day of Thanksgiving, so to speak, that everybody is here. Thanksgiving is not a one-day holiday in America. It seems to be a two-day holiday. It seems to be a two-day holiday. Like Yom Tov is Lahavdil. Lahavdil, that Yom Tov is a two-day holiday, and we have Yom Tov. It's Yom Tov Sheni, Lahavdil. And people are here. So I want to thank you for being here. Pleasure. Okay, so the Gemara says the following. Thank you. Listen, if they could celebrate 2 days of Thanksgiving, we could celebrate 2 days of Yom Tov with a happiness. There's no comparison. So the Gemara wanted to know, but my kamiflagi. The Gemara wanted to know what is the root of the argument between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. So again, what did we say yesterday? We said there is a major disagreement. When does the lashes kick in? Does the lashes kick in, the malkut kick in the moment he violates the violation? But, meaning we're talking about in a case when there's a correction. The Torah says, don't do something. By the way, you should know when you do a mitzvah and it's harder, it's more challenging, the reward is much greater. So obviously it's more challenging to come early when everybody's sleeping late. Well, most people are sleeping later. So therefore the more effort, the greater the reward. Now, one opinion says, Reish Lakish says, the moment the person violates the violation, he has lashes on his account. That is he's obligated to get lashes. Except when they come to court, the court says we'll accept the fix to remove the lashes. That is the opinion of Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan's opinion is no. When the Torah gives a fix to a violation, it means lashes has not yet come to play yet. There's no lashes on the account. The guy has no obligation of lashes. And the only time he's going to get lashes is only if he does something to remove the opportunity to fix up the violation. And the difference between the two opinions, what would be, the moment he comes to court, the court calls him and he says, you know what? They would say to him, you have to fix it right now, or else you're going to get lashes. According to Reish Lakish, you have to fix it right now. You don't fix it right now, then you're going to get the lashes. And according to Rabbi Yochanan, even if you don't fix it right now, you have you have an open end to fix the violation because there's no obligation of lashes. You see, the court has a responsibility to administer lashes. So therefore, the court will say to the person, you come to court, we're gonna punish you for you have an obligation of lashes. So then the guy could say to the court, you know what? The guy could say to the court, I'm gonna do something else. I'm not gonna get lashes. What am I gonna do? I'll do the fix. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, there's no obligation of the court to call him in to give him lashes. There's no obligation of lashes. The obligation of lashes only comes when he removes the opportunity to fix up the violation. Is that clear to everybody? Sometimes, the Board of Health will give you a certain amount of time to fix, or else they're going to give you, you have to pay. Sometimes you don't have to pay. Let's say that's the idea. So now the Gemara says this disagreement, that one says the window is very short, and one says the window is very long, is based on a different machlokas. When you come to a certain conclusion, many times there's something that's driving you, that's influencing your conclusion. So now that's what the Gemara is going to say. And what's the influence of the conclusion? The idea of a warning. Warning, Huda. When you have to give somebody a warning, and like we said, in order to get lashes, right, Mr. Batesh, we spoke about you have to give warning to the person. And immediately following the warning, the violation has to take place. It's a very short window of time that the violation and the warning have to take place. What about if I give a guy a warning, but it's not clear that if the guy doesn't follow the warning at this moment, it's not clear that he's going to incur lashes because he has a possibility later on to fix it. What does that mean? So the Gemara, let's say the Gemara is going to say a case. Listen to this case. A guy makes an oath, and he says he's going to eat a loaf of bread today. He's going to eat a bagel today. Okay? And the day passes, and he doesn't eat the loaf of bread. Okay? So he violated the oath. And the Torah says you're not allowed to violate an oath. So now the question is, and the Gemara is going to say he's not going to get lashes for this. He's not going to get lashes for being, and the question is, why is he not going to get lashes for not fulfilling his oath that he said? He swore that he's going to eat this bagel today, and he didn't eat the bagel today. Why doesn't he get lashes? Oh, so Yaron on the money, as they say, they did not, there's no action. He was inactive. He swore that he's going to do something. He's going to eat this bagel. And he violated this. He did the violation by being inactive, by not eating. So the violation was incurred by not doing something. So we say you do not get lashes for not doing something.
Something like you're not saying to yourself, what if you're like send you the money tomorrow? They don't send it. Now you're also taking away something from somebody else.
Right, but again, it's a sin. You're 100%. There's no question, Nathan. There's a big sin. He violated the prohibition. If the guy said he's going to do something and didn't follow up, it's a problem. But the question is there lashes? To meet, there's a certain bar that needs to be met for the court to administer lashes to somebody. And that bar generally is you have to have done an action against God, against the Torah. By being inactive, the guy did not put on tefillin, he was inactive. He does not get lashes. And even when so that's the one reason Yaron said, the reason why he doesn't get lashes is because he violated with it being inactive. But we're going to see that there is an opinion that says that even when you don't do an action and you violated a losas, the Torah says, don't do this. For instance, don't talk negative about your fellow Jew. And you spoke negative about your fellow Jew. You violated the prohibition. Torah says, don't talk negative about a fellow Jew. Even if it's true, don't talk negative. And you violated it. There's an opinion that says you will get lashes. Even though there's no action. Because let's say speech, we don't consider speech a level of an action, you'll get lashes. So there isn't an argument in whether a lav, the Torah says don't do something, and it's violated with an inaction, without doing an action, whether he's subject to lashes. So we're going to find there's another opinion that says that the fact that there was no action would not be a reason to get him off the hook from lashes. What is the reason why he's off the hook from lashes? Because when you gave the guy a warning, let's say it's 10 a.m. He made this oath at 9 a.m. in the morning. He made an oath at 9, I'm going to have a bagel today. He swears he's going to have a bagel today. You go over to him at 10 a.m. and you say, sir, if you don't have the bagel, you're going to get lashes. So now, what does that mean? If I don't have the bagel, but again, the warning has to be immediately before the action. So it's possible he's going to have the bagel later. If you tell him at 10 a.m., you have to eat the bagel. He can always say, if you don't eat the bagel, you're going to get lashes. You can say, what do you mean? If I don't eat the bagel now, maybe I'll eat the bagel later. By not eating the bagel now is not necessarily indicative that I'm going to be violating. I'm going to get lashes. It's the only way it's definite that I would get lashes if the whole day passes and I don't eat the bagel. But if when the warning was given, and it says you have to do a certain thing or not do a certain thing, and it's not sure that if at this moment, if I don't follow through at this moment, it's not definite that I'm going to get the lashes, because it's possible I'm going to eat the bagel later. Even if I don't eat the bagel now, but the fact I could eat it later, so that's called a warning that's in as a suffix. It's not definite. If I go ahead and say, don't eat not kosher. And then I said, I'm warning you, don't eat this lobster. And then he goes ahead and if you eat the lobster, you will get lashes. So the moment, and then immediately the guy eats lobster, he gets lashes. He's going to get lashes for that. Because I gave him a warning, and it was clear from the warning that if he doesn't follow through what I warned him, he's going to get lashes. I warned him, but if I give him a warning, and if he doesn't listen to the warning, it's still not, we don't know that he's going to get lashes because there's still more time for him to fix it. That's a warning on, that's not definite that he's going to get lashes. If I warn him about something and act, and it's not clear that if he doesn't listen to this warning at this moment, he's going to get lashes, he's not subject to lashes. We're going to get, maybe we'll make it clearer. Maybe we'll see the Rashi if he'll give any better case. Maybe we'll look at the Rashi. Okay, maybe first we'll see the language of the Gemara inside. So again, that's the issue here. The issue here is if I warn something and it's not definite that by not listening to the warning right away, it's not definite that I'm going to incur lashes, is that a good warning? So for instance, if I warn the guy, you have to eat the bagel because you swore you're going to eat the bagel. So one opinion says that's not a good warning. Because if I tell him you have to eat the bagel, he could say, and if you don't eat the bagel, you're going to get lashes. He said, I'll eat the bagel later. As long as I eat the bagel sometime before the end of the day, I'm good. Right, but the point is, in order to get lashes, has to be that you were told that if you do this act, you're going to get lashes. So if you're warned, eat the bagel. I don't have to get lashes if I don't eat the bagel now, because I can eat the bagel later. But it's not that if I violate the warning and I don't get, if it's not clear that I'm going to get lashes as a result of that violation, I don't, even though at the end of the day passed, I didn't eat the bagel. He said that if I don't eat the bagel today, but the warning has to be immediately prior to the violation. But the violation doesn't kick in until the end of the day, until the day is over. And you can't, and I think when Rashi says in a different Masechta, you can't figure out the exact moment before the end of the day to give him that warning. Rashi says maybe you can warn him a second before the end of the day. Let's say it right before it gets dark, and you tell him, you know, if you don't eat the bagel, you're going to get lashes. You can't figure that moment. So if you can't figure that moment when exactly right before the end of the day, so therefore you gave him a warning about something, and it's not clear that by violating this warning at this moment that he's going to get lashes for it, because he has a possibility not to get lashes for violating the warning, because he could eat the bagel later. Say that again. He knew if he doesn't eat the bagel today, but it's not good enough that you warned about something and you have a whole long window of time, warning Simon, to correct that. You know, it has to be that the warning has to be right before the violation. It's okay. Again, that is the opinion that's one opinion. One opinion of the Gemara is that if a warning is given, Yehuda declare, the warning is given, in order for the warning to be valid, to be a real warning, it has to be, I tell you, don't do something, and if you don't listen to what I tell you at this moment, you're going to get lashes. You violated the prohibition. But if I gave you a warning, and at this moment that I tell you the warning, if you don't listen to me, it's not necessarily you're going to get lashes, because you have the possibility of doing something later to fix it. That's not a warning. A warning is don't do this. If you do it, you're going to get something. You're violating. But you might not be violating the prohibition. So that is the question of. So one opinion says such a warning is not a good warning, and the other opinion says that such a warning is a good warning. Good morning, Mr. Silverman.
Good morning, Rabbi. How are you?
Good to see you.
Chodesh Tov. Chodesh Tov.
Chodesh Tov. It's been a little while.
Zat Hashem. I'm going to see you this morning, I hope.
Very good. So we're discussing, Mr. Silverman, Hatra Safek, a warning that's given, which is not definite, that by violating the warning, by doing this action at this moment or being inactive at this moment, it's not definite that you're going to get, he's violating the prohibition. That's a question if that type of warning is a good warning or not. So if we'll look at the language of the Gemara, and then we'll look at the Rashi, and look at the Gemara. The Gemara says, "B'may kamiflagi." We are on Tesvav base 15b in Makkos.
Okay.
We're trying to explain the machloket between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. The machloket Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish argue whether bitlo v'lo bitlo or kaimo v'lo kaimo. They argue when the Torah says a lav, and Torah says don't do something, and the Torah follows up with a tikkun, a fix of the violation. Don't steal. If you steal, return it. Don't leave it over to the morning. Then the Karban Pesach. Well, if you leave it over to the morning, burn it. At what point does the lashes kick in? Do the lashes kick in immediately? And the person has the opportunity just to remove the lashes. Kaimo, by the court will call them up and say, you know what, you have an obligation of lashes because you left it over to the morning, but you have a way to get out. What's the way to get out? By burning it. Or you stole. You have an obligation of lashes the moment you stole, but you have an opportunity to get out by returning. And if you don't fix it right away, you get lashes. Because there's already an obligation of lashes on the person. That is one approach. Rabbi Yochanan says no. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Alav hanitek laseh," when the Torah says don't do something, and then the Torah says if you violate it, I have a fix for you what to do to fix it. Rabbi Yochanan says it's open-ended. As long as you don't knock out the opportunity to fix it, as long as you weren't mevatel, as long as you didn't do something to remove the opportunity to fix it, there's no lashes yet. Alav hanitek laseh, a violation that the Torah gives a correction. Rabbi Yochanan says lashes did not kick in yet. The only time lashes will kick in is only at the moment that you nullify the opportunity to fix the violation. That's Rabbi Yochanan. At the very end, only if you do something to knock out the opportunity to fix it. But if you don't do something to remove the opportunity to fix the violation, then there's no lashes. So I could go 20 years, 30 years, no lashes for this violation, because he still has the opportunity to fix the violation. The Shlaka says no. Immediately, the court calls him in, fix it now, or you're going to get the lashes. And the Gemara says this argument is dependent on a different argument. It's dependent on this argument of Hatras Safek, how it works by a warning. And that's what the Gemara says, and we're going to explain it. The Maika Miflagi, Hatras Safek Miflagi. They're arguing on a warning. Mr. Silverman, I know you love Gemara, so it's not hard for you to figure out the Gemara. But we're in a very complicated Gemara that you're jumping yourself into. But you don't look scared.
Yeah,
so the Gemara says the Maika Miflagi. What are they arguing? So the Gemara says Safek Miflagi. Masava, one rabbi, one master, one master holds Hatras Safek, a warning that's given to a person that's not clear, that if you violate the warning if you don't listen to the warning this moment, it's not definite you're going to get lashes. Is that called a good? Meaning it's dependent on a timing of something. So that type of warning, and we're going to explain it more. One opinion says that's called a warning. And one says that a warning, that if it's not definitive, if it's not 100%, the moment I give you a warning, if I say do this or don't, if I tell you to do this, or don't do this, I give you the warning. This moment I give you this warning. It has to be that if I don't listen to you this moment, then I would get lashes this moment. If it's not clear by not listening to the warning this moment, if it's not clear that I'll get lashes, that's not called a warning. It's not called a warning. And they're going to, like I told you the case. If I want a guy, the guy made an oath. I'm going to eat a bagel today. I'm going to eat a bagel today. He swore he's going to eat a bagel today. And then he swore at 9 a.m. I'm going to eat a bagel. Today I'm going to eat a bagel. And at 10 a.m. the witnesses come over to the guy and say, you swore you're going to eat a bagel. We're going to warn you. And the Torah says, the Torah, there's a prohibition in the Torah that says you're not allowed to profane your word. You're not allowed to make chulin your words. If you say you're going to do something, you swear you're going to do something, you have there's one of the the 365 lo sases of the Torah is you're not allowed to profane your words. Excuse me, you
Keep your
said
words.
you're not allowed to desecrate your words. So now, if the witnesses will come over to the guy and say, sir, you swore you're going to eat the bagel. I'm warning you now. If you don't eat the bagel, it's 10 a.m. He swore he's going to eat the bagel today. So technically he has, let's say the day ends at 6 o'clock. He has 8 more hours to eat this bagel. If I come over to him at 10 a.m., I say, you have to eat this bagel because you swore you're going to eat the bagel. What's the warning going to say? If you don't eat the bagel, you're going to get lashes. If he doesn't eat the bagel at 10 a.m., he might not get lashes because maybe he's going to eat the bagel at 1 a.m., at 1 p.m., 2 p.m. So when you warned him, when you told him, I'm warning you, you have to eat the bagel, Mr. Simon, he can say, I'll eat it later. So when you gave him the warning at this moment and he doesn't eat the bagel at this moment, it's not definite that he's going to get lashes because it could be he's going to eat the bagel later. So that's called haptras safek. It's a warning, but it's not definite that when he doesn't listen to the warning at this moment, it's not definite that he's going to incur the lashes.
I'm sorry, what's it called? Like you said, 10 o'clock and 10:01 came and said you didn't do it. What is that? Regular?
If he says 10, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, I said, you swore you're going to eat the bagel. And
Rabbi,
I said, I'm going to warn you. Yes.
Does the
Simon.
same apply to the rapist who doesn't marry his victim because he has all his life to marry her?
So if he has all his life, very good. So that's going to be the same thing, exactly. Because if he has, it's possible. If we're gonna go ahead and tell the guy, you have to, you know what? Let's see the Rashi, and we'll see how Rashi's going to connect it, Jaime. We're gonna get to that Rashi to address your point. Yes. We're saying, and Nathan was saying, if you warn him at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you tell them, what do you tell them at 10 o'clock in the morning? Eat the bagel. And it comes 10:01, and now in order to violate the warning, it has to be right after the warning was given. But if he didn't eat the bagel, by 10:01, he didn't eat the bagel. But is it possible he's going to eat the bagel later?
No, but you said if you're not going to eat the bagel, but you said I'm going to eat a bagel by 10 o'clock.
Oh, if he said, if the guy said, if he's that's very good. That might be different. If he said there he said, if the guy said, yes, I'm going to eat the bagel by 10 o'clock, that might be, he gave us a very short window. Here we're talking about, he said, I'm going to eat, I have the whole day. I swore I'm going to eat the bagel today. Yes, Mr. Patel. Right. So one opinion will be the reason why he doesn't get lashes because he was inactive. But he just didn't eat the bagel. And one opinion said when you don't do an action, you don't get lashes. But there's another opinion in the Gemara that says that even by being inactive, you get lashes. So now look at the Gemara. Say it again. There's no fix in this. If what? If the guy doesn't eat the bagel at the end of the day, he's not according to he's not going to get lashes. The question is why? What? Even if very good, an opinion that says that it is a good warning, that even though it's a safek, even though when I gave you the warning at 10 o'clock in the morning, I told you have to eat the bagel, it was a question that maybe he's gonna not eat, maybe he will get lashes or not, because we don't know if he's gonna eat the bagel by the end of the day. So according to one opinion, we'll say that would have been a good enough warning, but the only reason why he doesn't get lashes is because he was inactive.
But Rabbi, also isn't that the time hasn't run out for him to correct?
Right. He had, but here it's going on. The point with it's true. The time didn't run out, but the reason why there is no lashes is because the warning. But he was given a warning at 10 o'clock in the morning. So why isn't that sufficient to give him lashes? But at the end of the day came and he didn't eat the bagel.
Oh, so you're saying the point is really that it's an inaction as opposed to the time ran out.
Right, it's inaction, but the Gemara is saying the inaction, one opinion says the inaction is not the reason why he's not getting lashes. The reason why, there's one opinion that says that's why he's not getting lashes, because he was inactive, he just didn't eat it. But there's another opinion, one of Mr. Rabbi Gian, but there's another opinion. The other opinion is that the reason why there's no lashes is because the reason is because there was something missing in the warning. There was a defect in the warning. The warning wasn't the normal type of warning that we need to give a person in order to give a guy lashes. Because one of the rules are, the only way you can give a guy lashes is the guy has to be warned. There's no such thing as a punishment from the court without a warning. So, but if there was a defect in legality, so to speak, like, there was a problem, there was a defect in the warning wasn't done properly, it's not a proper warning, we don't give a guy lashes. So one opinion, Jaime says that there's something wrong with the warning. A warning is you tell a guy, don't eat this lobster. If you eat this lobster, you get lashes. So the guy eats, and then a moment later, he eats the lobster, he gets lashes. There was no question about what the warning said. It was clear to the guy, it was clear to warning bars. It was clear to the guy, if I don't listen to the guy, I'm going to get lashes. He was told, don't eat this lobster. And you know what? There was no question whether he would get lashes by not listening to it or not. It was clear. It was not dependent on something else. It wasn't in the air if he doesn't listen to the warning, whether he'll get lashes or not. It was clear if he doesn't listen right away, he's going to get lashes. He eats the lobster, he gets lashes. But when you tell a guy at 10 a.m. in the morning, you have to eat the bagel because you swore you're going to eat the bagel. And you know what? And at 10 a.m., he doesn't eat the bagel. Who says he's going to get lashes? Maybe at 11 a.m. he's going to eat the bagel. And in order to get lashes, the violation has to come immediately following the warning. And when you gave him a warning at 10 a.m., he didn't, the fact that he didn't listen to it at that moment, he has a possibility that he's going to listen to it later. It's up in the air. Whether is he going to eat the bagel today? At the end of the day, he didn't eat the bagel. But since when you gave him that warning, and now it came out that he didn't eat the bagel. But since when the moment that he was warned, it was up in the air whether he would still get the lashes or not. That's a reason why one of the rabbis said that's not called a good warning. That type of warning, a warning has to be that when you're told about something, you know that if you don't listen to it and you violate at that moment, you're going to get lashes. If you don't know it, if you could say, maybe I'm not going to get lashes by not listening to it this moment, that's not a serious enough warning, because maybe I'm going to eat later the bagel. So you know what? I'm not going to. Maybe the logic will be, I'm not going to take it so serious, this warning that you're telling me that I have to eat the bagel. You're telling me I have to eat the bagel now. Maybe I'll eat the bagel later, and therefore I'm not worried about this now, and therefore it's not considered a good enough warning. Yes. Yes.
Rabbi, I have a question. Jaime mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Jaime mentioned earlier about a rapist, that if he has all his life to marry her, wouldn't Kol Nidre take away that obligation, or doesn't take it away?
The Kol Nidre should take away the obligation to marry her?
In other words, we go through Kol Nidre, take away all of our obligations and any of our neders. Isn't that a neder that he's supposed to be keeping?
No, again, the Torah gives him a mitzvah that he has to marry her. So he has to follow what the Torah says. He can't.
So the
Kol Nidre doesn't take away. It only takes away certain types of things, and doesn't take away everything. When the Torah says certain things that we have to do, he has to follow. The Kol Nidre won't remove it.
Won't break it. Okay.
You should know, over Pesach, over Sukkot, I saw a interesting book. Was talking about Jewish history or something, and it said over there that the Goyim used Kol Nidre against the Jewish community, because they said that the Jewish people, they say Kol Nidre, so you can't, so they whatever promises that they said, it has no value, because they say Kol Nidre. And they used the Kol Nidre maybe in the 1600s or something. I don't remember what the year dates were. They used it as when the Goyim are trying to make trouble against the Jewish people, they used the Kol Nidre as a stuff to say that. Is that amazing, Mr. Silverman? They used it to. You can look it up. Most probably it's this type of. It could be it was done multiple times in our history that they were using
Wow.
against us.
To
Say
take
you
our
can't trust-
obligation. Yeah, you can't trust us.
Right. We know we are the most trustworthy people. We know we're the most honest people. And we know the Jewish people, we know the governments, we know many governments, whether it was most recently Iran and the Aryeh family and so on, how they trusted the Jewish community, how they knew the Jewish people were people you could trust. Okay, we want to wish everyone a Chodesh Tov. And Jaime, we're going to have to get back to your question regarding the onus, the rapist on Monday. To connect the dots.
Thank you.
See you
All
soon.
right. Have a great, Mr. Silverman, welcome to joining us. It's been a little while.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Rabbi. Chodesh
You can
Tov.
say hello to your son for me.
I will. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Chodesh Tov.